Chapter 1: The Shadow of the Storm. New Orleans was a city steeped in history, culture, and vibrant energy. But on this fateful day, a shadow loomed over the city, casting a foreboding sense of impending disaster. Hurricane Katrina, a force of nature like no other, was set to unleash its fury upon the unsuspecting inhabitants. Within the walls of Orleans Parish prison, Ivy Gisclair found himself locked away, a captive of his own mistakes. The stench of regret hung heavy in the air as he waited for redemption, yearning for a chance to make amends. The flickering fluorescent lights cast a cold, sterile glow over the dimly lit cell block, accentuating the despair that permeated the prison. As Ivy gazed out the small, barred window, he could see the dark clouds gathering on the horizon, carrying with them the weight of an impending storm. The wind howled, twisting and turning, as if it, too, was aware of the chaos about to be unleashed upon the city. The atmosphere crackled with tension, a palpable sense of unease that gripped the hearts of all who called New Orleans home. Ivy's thoughts drifted back to the choices that had brought him here, the mistakes that had led him down a path of destruction. He had once been a man with dreams, aspirations, and a sense of purpose. But somewhere along the way, he had lost himself, succumbing to the allure of easy money and the temptations that had ultimately led to his downfall. The prison wall seemed to close in on Ivy, the weight of his past bearing down upon him. He longed for a chance at redemption, a way to make things right and find his place in the world once more. But as the storm drew nearer, it seemed as if the very fabric of his hopes and dreams was being torn apart. Outside, the city braced itself for the impending catastrophe. Evacuation warnings blared from every television and radio, urging residents to seek shelter and safety. But within the confines of Orleans Parish prison, the inmates were left to face the wrath of the storm alone. The guards, overwhelmed by the impending disaster, had fled, leaving behind a sense of abandonment and neglect. As Ivy listened to the distant rumble of thunder, he couldn't help but wonder what fate had in store for him and his fellow prisoners. Would they be forgotten, left to fend for themselves in the face of nature's fury? Or would this storm serve as a catalyst for change, a chance to expose the injustices and corruption that had plagued the prison for far too long? With a heavy heart and a flicker of determination in his eyes, Ivy vowed to weather the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. He knew that true redemption could only be found by confronting his past, by facing the consequences of his actions head-on. And as Hurricane Katrina bore down upon New Orleans, Ivy prepared himself for a battle that would test his resilience, his spirit, and his will to survive. This was only the beginning of a journey that would forever change Ivy's life, intertwining his fate with that of others, and ultimately, revealing the true power of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Chapter 2: The Walls Crumble. The storm had arrived. Hurricane Katrina unleashed its wrath upon New Orleans, battering the city with relentless force. Rain poured from the heavens, pounding against the rooftops and flooding the streets. Ivy Gisclair and his fellow prisoners could hear the furious roar of the winds as they rattled the prison bars, a menacing symphony of destruction. Inside Orleans Parish prison, chaos erupted as the storm's fury tore through the facility. With each gust of wind, the walls trembled, and the ceiling tiles shuddered, threatening to collapse upon them. The prison seemed to groan under the weight of the tempest, its very foundations tested by the unyielding rage of nature. Ivy and his fellow inmates huddled in their cells, their hearts gripped with fear and uncertainty. The dimly lit corridors echoed with shouts and cries, blending with the howling winds. The prison guards, overwhelmed and ill-prepared for the disaster, had long since abandoned their posts, leaving the inmates to fend for themselves in this treacherous battle against the elements. Rising floodwaters seeped into the prison, inching higher and higher with each passing minute. Ivy's cell, once a confining space, now felt like a sinking ship. The putrid scent of dampness permeated the air, mingling with the stench of desperation and fear. Ivy looked out through the narrow window, only to find a grim reflection of his own predicament in the water pooling on the floor. As the water rose, panic gripped the prisoners. Some banged on their cell doors, desperate for help, while others retreated into themselves, paralyzed by the impending doom. Ivy knew that if they didn't act swiftly, their chances of survival would dwindle with each passing moment. Summoning his inner strength, Ivy rallied his fellow inmates. "And quat, we can't just sit here and wait for the water to consume us, and quat," he declared, his voice cutting through the cacophony of the storm. "And quat, we have to find a way out!" And quat. With his words, a flicker of hope ignited within the hearts of the prisoners. They knew that to survive, they had to take matters into their own hands. Together, they devised a plan to navigate the flooded prison, seeking higher ground and a chance at salvation. Ivy led the way, his determination unwavering. They waded through waist-deep water, the current tugging at their legs, threatening to sweep them away. The once familiar hallways had become treacherous, filled with debris and remnants of the storm's fury. They moved cautiously, their eyes scanning for any signs of danger. Amidst the chaos, Ivy caught a glimpse of Ashley George, the young girl he had befriended in the youth center. Fear etched on her face, Ashley clung to a piece of floating debris, struggling to stay afloat. Without hesitation, Ivy reached out and pulled her towards him, ensuring her safety amidst the swirling torrent. Step by treacherous step, the group pressed on, their determination fueling their progress. The water continued to rise, threatening to claim them with every passing minute. But Ivy refused to let the storm break their spirit. He knew that together, they could face any challenge and overcome any obstacle. After what felt like an eternity, they finally reached a staircase leading to higher levels of the prison. Gasping for breath, their bodies weary and battered, they climbed, their hopes buoyed by the promise of escape. With each step, they inched closer to the possibility of survival, leaving behind the darkness and despair of their flooded cells. At the top of the stairs, they emerged into a dimly lit corridor, greeted by a temporary respite from the storm's fury. Ivy turned to his fellow inmates, his voice filled with determination. "And quat, we may be prisoners, but we are not defined by these walls, and quat," he declared. "And quat, it's time to fight for our lives. We will not be forgotten!" And quat. With newfound determination burning in their eyes, Ivy and his fellow prisoners ventured deeper into the prison, their spirits unyielding, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. The storm had tested their resilience, but it had not broken their spirit. They would forge onwards, defying the odds, and seeking a future beyond the prison's confines. Chapter 3: Forbidden Connections. Within the confines of the abandoned section of the prison, Ivy and the group found temporary respite from the storm's relentless assault. The air was heavy with a sense of confinement, the walls seemingly closing in on them. But despite the suffocating atmosphere, they clung to the flickering hope that had brought them together. Ivy and Ashley, in particular, had developed a deep bond amidst the chaos. In this desolate corner of the prison, they found solace in each other's presence, their shared experiences forging an unspoken understanding. Ivy became a pillar of strength for Ashley, offering her comfort and protection in a world that had turned upside down. As the days turned into weeks, the group settled into a routine, their survival dependent on rationing meager supplies and maintaining a semblance of order. Ivy took charge, his natural leadership qualities shining through. With each passing day, he grew more determined to lead his fellow inmates out of the darkness that had consumed their lives. Fear and desperation haunted the prison, testing the resolve of even the strongest among them. The weight of their past mistakes, coupled with the harsh realities of their present situation, threatened to break their spirits. But Ivy refused to let despair seep into their hearts. He reminded them of their resilience, their capacity for change, and the hope of redemption that still flickered within. In the depths of the prison's darkness, Ivy discovered Carlos, a seasoned inmate who had weathered many storms before. Carlos carried himself with an air of self-assurance, his eyes filled with a hardened wisdom. Recognizing a kindred spirit, Ivy approached him, seeking guidance and companionship that only someone with Carlos' experience could provide. Reluctantly, Carlos opened up to Ivy, sharing stories of his troubled past and the hardships he had endured. He spoke of a life marked by poor choices and missed opportunities, a life that had ultimately led him to Orleans Parish prison. Despite the weight of his sins, Carlos found solace in helping others, in guiding them towards a better path. As Ivy listened to Carlos' tales, he saw a glimmer of hope. He realized that they were not defined solely by their past actions, but by the choices they made in the present. Inspired by Carlos' resilience, Ivy felt a renewed sense of purpose. He vowed to help his fellow inmates find their own paths to redemption, offering them a chance at a better future. In the shadows of the abandoned section, a forbidden connection began to form. Ivy, Ashley, and Carlos, bound by their shared desire for change, became a beacon of hope for those around them. The flickering flame of resilience and determination spread, igniting a sense of unity among the prisoners. Together, they forged a new community within the prison's confines. They shared meals, stories, and dreams of a life beyond the cold, damp walls. In this makeshift family, they found the strength to face the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that they were not alone in their struggle. As the days stretched into weeks, Ivy, Ashley, and Carlos continued to nurture this forbidden connection. They knew that the path to redemption was not an easy one, but they were willing to fight for it, to defy the odds stacked against them. They were determined to emerge from the darkness, not only as survivors but as catalysts for change. Chapter 5, A Ray of Hope. In the midst of the darkness that engulfed the abandoned section of the prison, a ray of hope began to pierce through the despair. Ivy and his fellow inmates clung to this glimmer of light, nurturing it as a flame that could guide them towards a better future. As the days turned into weeks, Ivy's leadership grew stronger, his unwavering determination inspiring those around him. He rallied the group, encouraging them to find strength in their shared struggle. Together, they vowed to rise above their circumstances and forge a path towards redemption. With each passing day, Ivy and his companions honed their survival skills. They scoured the prison for any hidden resources, utilizing their ingenuity to make the most of what they found. They constructed makeshift traps to catch small game, using every scrap of food to sustain their hunger. Water was collected and carefully rationed, each drop cherished as if it held the elixir of life itself. As they worked together, Ivy noticed a change in his fellow inmates. The glimmers of hope that had started to emerge grew brighter, igniting a newfound sense of purpose within each of them. They began to believe in their ability to rewrite their stories, to break free from the chains that had bound them for so long. One afternoon, as Ivy and the group explored a long-abandoned wing of the prison, they stumbled upon a hidden cache of supplies. The discovery was like a burst of sunlight breaking through the storm clouds. Their hearts swelled with gratitude, knowing that luck had finally smiled upon them. With their newfound resources, Ivy and his companions were able to ease the burden of hunger and thirst that had weighed them down. The nourishment revitalized their bodies and rejuvenated their spirits. They no longer saw themselves as prisoners but as warriors, fighting against the darkness that threatened to consume them. As the days passed, Ivy noticed a change in Ashley. Her once timid demeanor had transformed into one of resilience and determination. She had found her voice amidst the chaos, becoming a pillar of strength for the group. Ivy admired her tenacity, recognizing the spark of leadership that burned within her. Together, Ivy and Ashley began to formulate a plan. They knew that survival alone was not enough, they needed to find a way out of the prison, to escape the clutches of their past. With the support of the others, they mapped out a route, taking into account the layout of the prison and any potential obstacles they might encounter. Their plan was bold and risky, but they believed in their ability to overcome any challenge that lay in their path. They gathered their limited supplies, shouldering the weight of their hopes and dreams. The time had come to make their move, to step out of the darkness and into the unknown. As Ivy and his companions prepared to embark on their daring escape, a sense of anticipation filled the air. They knew that their journey would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but they also knew that they had each other. They had forged a bond that would carry them through the darkest of times and propel them towards a future filled with possibility. Chapter 6, The Journey Begins. With hearts full of hope and determination, Ivy and his companions embarked on their daring escape from the abandoned section of the prison. The time had come to leave behind the darkness that had consumed them for so long and embrace the unknown that lay beyond. As they ventured through the labyrinthine corridors, each step was filled with trepidation and excitement. They moved with caution, aware that one false move could jeopardize their chances of freedom. Ivy's leadership shone through, guiding the group with a steady hand and a clear vision. The path they had mapped out proved to be challenging, filled with obstacles they had not anticipated. Locked gates and barred windows blocked their way, forcing them to find alternative routes. But Ivy and his companions refused to be deterred. They pooled their knowledge and skills, using their collective strength to overcome each hurdle they encountered. Their journey was not without its dangers. The prison's abandoned sections were a breeding ground for decay and decayed structures. The crumbling walls threatened to collapse at any moment, and the echoes of their footsteps reverberated through the empty halls, keeping them on edge. Yet, they pressed on, fueled by the hope of a life beyond the prison walls. Along the way, Ivy and Ashley discovered hidden caches of supplies, remnants of a time long forgotten. These unexpected finds bolstered their spirits and replenished their dwindling resources. They shared their discoveries with the group, strengthening the sense of unity that had been forged in the depths of the darkness. As they ventured deeper into the uncharted territory of the prison, Ivy and his companions encountered remnants of the past. Graffiti-covered walls told stories of those who had come before them. Ivy paused to read the messages scrawled across the peeling paint, realizing that they were not alone in their struggle. These walls bore witness to the pain, fear, and longing that had permeated the prison's halls. With each passing day, Ivy's belief in their journey grew stronger. The hardships they faced only fueled their determination to succeed. They shared stories of their lives before the prison, finding solace and strength in the knowledge that they were not defined by their past mistakes. As they neared the outer edges of the prison, Ivy and his companions encountered their greatest challenge yet. A massive metal gate stood before them, an imposing barrier that seemed insurmountable. But Ivy refused to let the gate be the end of their journey. With a determined glint in his eyes, he rallied the group, urging them to find a way to open the gate and step into the freedom that awaited them. Through sheer perseverance and ingenuity, they managed to overcome the final obstacle. The heavy gate swung open, creaking under the weight of their collective hope. They stepped out into the open air, their faces bathed in the warm glow of the sun. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, they were free. As they stood outside the prison walls, Ivy and his companions took a moment to savor the taste of freedom. It was a bittersweet victory, knowing that their journey was far from over. But they were no longer defined by their past or confined by their mistakes. They had taken the first step towards redemption, towards reclaiming their lives. Chapter 7, A New Beginning. As Ivy and his companions stepped out into the world outside the prison walls, they were greeted by a vast expanse of possibilities. The air felt different, fresher, as if it carried the scent of newfound freedom. They stood there, taking in the sights and sounds, their hearts filled with a mixture of relief, excitement, and trepidation. They knew that their journey towards redemption had only just begun. The world outside the prison was unfamiliar, and the path ahead was uncertain. But Ivy's unwavering determination and the strength of their bond propelled them forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay in their path. With no destination in mind, they set off, guided by their instincts and a shared desire for a fresh start. They traversed through landscapes both urban and rural, each step bringing them closer to the life they had yearned for. They encountered kind strangers who offered them assistance and directions, reminding them that not everyone in the world was cold and cruel. As they journeyed, Ivy and his companions discovered the transformative power of forgiveness. They had carried the weight of their past actions for so long, believing that redemption was out of reach. But with each passing day, they learned to forgive themselves and each other. They acknowledged their mistakes, but they also embraced the opportunity for growth and change. The group's dynamics evolved as they faced the challenges of the outside world together. They supported one another through the highs and lows, celebrating small victories and offering comfort in times of doubt. Ivy and Ashley, in particular, grew closer, their shared experiences forging a bond that transcended friendship. They leaned on each other, finding solace and strength in their connection. As they settled into a small town, Ivy and his companions sought to rebuild their lives. They found work and housing, slowly integrating themselves into the community. They proved themselves to be hardworking and resilient, dispelling the skepticism of those who doubted their potential. With time, Ivy's leadership skills became evident beyond the confines of the prison. He emerged as a respected figure within the community, offering guidance and support to those who needed it. His own journey towards redemption inspired others, reminding them that change was possible, no matter how deep the darkness. In the midst of their new lives, Ivy and his companions never forgot where they came from. They visited the prison periodically, not as prisoners but as beacons of hope for those still trapped within its walls. They shared their stories of transformation, offering a glimmer of inspiration to those who yearned for a way out. Their journey towards redemption was not without its setbacks. They faced moments of doubt and temptation, reminders of the darkness they had left behind. But they stood firm, fortified by their shared experiences and the knowledge that they had come so far. As the months turned into years, Ivy and his companions continued to embrace their newfound freedom and strive towards a brighter future. They formed deep connections within the community, their past no longer a defining factor but rather a testament to their resilience. In the end, Ivy and his companions proved that redemption is possible, that the mistakes of the past need not dictate the future. They had triumphed over the darkness that had once consumed them, emerging as beacons of hope and symbols of second chances. Chapter 8: The Power of Second Chances. In the years that followed their escape from the prison, Ivy and his companions continued to thrive in their newfound lives. They became integral members of the community, their pasts serving as a testament to the power of second chances. Ivy's leadership within the town grew stronger with each passing day. He became a voice of compassion and understanding, offering guidance to those who had lost their way. People sought his counsel, knowing that he had experienced the depths of darkness and emerged on the other side. Ashley, too, found her calling within the community. Her innate empathy and resilience made her a natural advocate for those who had been marginalized. She fought tirelessly for the rights of the oppressed, using her own story as a reminder that everyone deserved a chance to rebuild their lives. As Ivy and his companions continued to make a positive impact, the ripples of their redemption spread. Others who had been imprisoned, figuratively or literally, found solace and inspiration in their journey. Ivy and his companions became mentors, guiding others on their own paths towards forgiveness and transformation. The group's bond remained unbreakable. They celebrated each other's successes and supported one another through the inevitable challenges that life presented. They formed a chosen family, a reminder that love and connection could be found even in the most unlikely of places. One day, Ivy received a letter that would forever change his perspective. It was from a former inmate who had read about his journey towards redemption. The letter spoke of the desperate desire for change, the longing for a second chance. Ivy knew that he had to respond, to offer hope to someone who was trapped in the same darkness he had once known. He began corresponding with the stranger, sharing his own experiences and offering guidance. Through their letters, Ivy realized that his journey had not been solely for his own redemption but had the power to ignite a flame of hope in others. He saw the potential for a larger movement, a way to advocate for reform within the prison system and offer support to those still trapped. Ivy and his companions, now a close-knit group of advocates, launched a campaign for prison reform. They shared their stories, organized rallies, and lobbied for change. They fought for rehabilitation programs, mental health support, and opportunities for education and vocational training within prisons. Their efforts bore fruit as their message resonated with people from all walks of life. They garnered support from politicians, activists, and community members who saw the value in second chances. The momentum of their movement grew, leading to tangible changes within the prison system. As years passed, Ivy and his companions looked back on their journey with a sense of gratitude and fulfillment. They had not only transformed their own lives but had become catalysts for change on a larger scale. They had shown that redemption was possible, that the mistakes of the past need not define a person's future. Their legacy extended far beyond the confines of the prison walls. Ivy and his companions became symbols of hope, reminding others that no matter how dark the road may seem, there is always a glimmer of light waiting to be discovered. They taught the world the power of compassion, forgiveness, and second chances. As Ivy reflected on his journey, he felt a deep sense of peace. He had found his purpose in helping others find their own paths to redemption. He knew that his own transformation was not an endpoint but a continual journey of growth and learning. In the end, Ivy and his companions had not only escaped the prison physically but had transcended the limitations of their pasts. They had rewritten their stories, transforming themselves into agents of change and advocates for justice. Their journey was a testament to the power of resilience, love, and the indomitable human spirit. Chapter 9: The Circle of Redemption. As Ivy and his companions continued their work as advocates for prison reform, the impact of their journey began to manifest in unexpected ways. Their efforts not only brought about changes within the prison system but also sparked a larger movement of compassion and forgiveness within society. Their story touched the hearts of countless individuals who had felt trapped by their own mistakes or the judgments of others. People from all walks of life reached out, seeking guidance and inspiration. Ivy and his companions became mentors, offering wisdom and support to those who were still searching for their own paths to redemption. The circle of redemption expanded as those who had found their way out of darkness now became beacons of hope for others. Ivy and his companions facilitated support groups and workshops, creating safe spaces for individuals to share their stories and find solace in the knowledge that they were not alone. In one particular support group, Ivy met a young man named Daniel who had recently been released from prison. Daniel carried the weight of regret and shame, struggling to find his place in the world. Ivy recognized the pain in Daniel's eyes, as it mirrored the anguish he had once felt himself. Through their conversations, Ivy shared his own journey with Daniel and offered guidance on how to navigate the challenges of starting anew. He emphasized the importance of self-forgiveness and the power of embracing the potential for change. Ivy's words resonated deeply with Daniel, igniting a spark of hope within him. As the months passed, Ivy watched Daniel transform before his eyes. With Ivy's guidance and the support of the group, Daniel found the strength to face his past and take the necessary steps towards a brighter future. He enrolled in vocational training, secured employment, and became an active member of the community. Seeing Daniel's transformation reinvigorated Ivy's own sense of purpose. He realized that his journey towards redemption was not meant to end with his own personal growth but to extend to others who were still trapped in the cycle of despair. He intensified his efforts to advocate for opportunities for rehabilitation and support within the prison system, determined to break the chains that held others captive. The movement for prison reform gained momentum as Ivy and his companions traveled across the country, sharing their stories and rallying support. Their message reached the hearts of legislators, who began to recognize the need for change. New policies were enacted, focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. Programs were implemented to address mental health, addiction, and reintegration into society. As the years passed, the impact of Ivy and his companions' work became undeniable. Recidivism rates dropped, and stories of redemption and successful reintegration became more commonplace. Society began to shift its perspective, recognizing that the path to healing and transformation was paved with compassion and understanding. Ivy and his companions stood at the forefront of this movement, serving as living proof that redemption was not only possible but essential for the betterment of individuals and society as a whole. They continued to mentor and inspire, their personal stories serving as a beacon of hope for those who had lost their way. In the twilight of his life, Ivy reflected on the journey that had brought him to this point. He felt grateful for the opportunities he had been given, and the chance to rewrite his own narrative. He found solace in knowing that the circle of redemption continued to expand, touching the lives of countless others. As Ivy's story came to a close, he passed the torch to a new generation of advocates, who would carry on the work he and his companions had started. He knew that their journey was not over, that the fight for justice and second chances would continue long after they were gone. In the end, Ivy's legacy was not just a personal triumph but a testament to the power of redemption and the resilience of the human spirit. His journey had touched the lives of many, reminding them that no one is defined by their past and that the potential for change exists within us all. Chapter 10: A Legacy of Redemption. As Ivy's journey neared its end, he found solace in knowing that his mission had left a lasting impact on the world. The seeds of redemption that he had planted had grown into a forest of hope, transforming the lives of countless individuals. In his final years, Ivy took time to reflect on the ripple effect of his actions. He saw how the movement for prison reform had become ingrained in the fabric of society, transcending political boundaries and inspiring change on a global scale. The world had come to recognize the inherent worth and potential for growth in every individual, regardless of their past mistakes. Ivy's companions carried on his legacy, continuing the fight for justice and second chances. They built upon the foundation he had laid, advocating for further reforms within the prison system and offering support to those who needed it most. Their collective efforts ensured that Ivy's journey was not just a fleeting moment but a lasting legacy. As Ivy's health began to decline, his companions gathered around him, offering comfort and gratitude for the impact he had made. They shared stories of the lives he had touched, the individuals who had found redemption because of his guidance. Ivy's heart swelled with pride, knowing that his journey had not been in vain. In his final moments, Ivy's mind drifted back to the young man, Daniel, whose life had been transformed through their encounter. He recalled the spark of hope that had ignited within Daniel, and how that flame had grown into a beacon of inspiration for others. Daniel had become a leader in his own right, carrying the torch of redemption forward. As Ivy took his last breath, he knew that his journey had come full circle. He had escaped the darkness of his past, found redemption, and inspired others to do the same. The legacy he left behind was one of compassion, forgiveness, and the limitless potential for change. The news of Ivy's passing spread far and wide, touching the hearts of people he had never met. They mourned the loss of a man who had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that transformation was possible for anyone willing to embrace it. In the years that followed, Ivy's story became immortalized in books, documentaries, and films. His journey inspired countless others to confront their own demons, to seek forgiveness, and to strive for a better future. Ivy's message of redemption echoed through the ages, reminding humanity of the power of compassion and second chances. The impact of Ivy's legacy continued to reverberate through the lives of those he had touched. Daniel, now a prominent advocate for prison reform, carried Ivy's teachings forward, ensuring that the circle of redemption remained unbroken. He mentored others, sharing his own story of transformation and offering guidance to those still trapped by their past mistakes. As time went on, Ivy's companions also passed away, their own legacies intertwined with his. But the movement they had started lived on, fueled by the countless individuals whose lives had been forever changed by their message. The world continued to evolve, embracing a more compassionate and rehabilitative approach to justice. Society recognized that redemption was not a privilege but a fundamental right, and resources were allocated to support individuals in their journey towards healing and transformation. In the end, Ivy's story became a timeless reminder of the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity, to rise above the mistakes of the past, and to embrace the potential for growth and change. His legacy lived on, shining brightly as a beacon of hope in a world that had learned the transformative power of redemption. Chapter 11: Embracing Redemption. Years passed since Ivy's passing, yet his impact continued to resonate in the hearts and minds of people across the globe. The movement for redemption and second chances had become deeply ingrained in society, transforming the way individuals were perceived and treated. In the wake of Ivy's legacy, organizations dedicated to rehabilitation and reintegration flourished. Programs were established to provide education, job training, and mental health support to those who had been incarcerated. Communities opened their arms, recognizing that redemption was not only possible but necessary for the well-being of individuals and society as a whole. The transformation within the prison system was remarkable. The focus shifted from punishment to rehabilitation, with a strong emphasis on addressing the root causes of crime and providing individuals with tools to rebuild their lives. Prisons became centers of learning and growth, where individuals were given opportunities to develop skills and find a sense of purpose. Society at large began to embrace the concept of redemption. People recognized that everyone is capable of change, and that mistakes should not define a person's entire existence. The stigma surrounding those with a criminal history began to fade as empathy and understanding took its place. In this new landscape, stories of redemption and second chances became celebrated. Books, movies, and documentaries captured the journeys of individuals who had turned their lives around. These stories served as a reminder that no one is beyond redemption, and that everyone deserves an opportunity to grow and contribute positively to society. One such story was that of Sarah, a woman who had spent years behind bars for a crime she committed in her youth. Sarah's journey mirrored Ivy's in many ways. She had faced her past, confronted her mistakes, and dedicated her life to helping others find their own path to redemption. Sarah became an influential advocate for prison reform, using her own story as a catalyst for change. She worked tirelessly to ensure that individuals within the system were provided with the necessary resources and support to rebuild their lives. Sarah's voice became a powerful force in the ongoing fight for justice and second chances. As the years went by, Sarah's impact continued to grow. Her organization, inspired by Ivy's legacy, expanded its reach and influence. Sarah mentored countless individuals, guiding them through the process of self-forgiveness and helping them navigate the challenges of reintegration into society. She became a beacon of hope, a living testament to the transformative power of redemption. The movement for redemption and second chances extended beyond the prison system. Employers began to recognize the value of hiring individuals with a criminal record, understanding that their experiences could bring unique perspectives and a strong drive for personal growth. Communities rallied around those in need, providing support networks and opportunities for individuals to rebuild their lives. In this new era, the world witnessed a significant decline in recidivism rates. The cycle of crime and punishment was gradually being replaced by a cycle of redemption and rehabilitation. People were given the chance to rewrite their stories and contribute positively to their communities. As society evolved, the legacy of Ivy, Sarah, and countless others who had dedicated their lives to the cause of redemption continued to inspire future generations. The movement they had sparked had become an integral part of the social fabric, a reminder of the power of compassion and understanding. In the end, the journey towards redemption was not just about the individual, but about society as a whole. It was a collective effort to break free from the confines of judgment and embrace the potential for growth and change in every human being. As the world moved forward, the spirit of redemption remained alive and well. People continued to share their stories, to support one another, and to advocate for a justice system that prioritized rehabilitation over punishment. The legacy of Ivy and his companions served as a constant reminder that redemption was not a privilege, but a fundamental right for all. Outro. As we bring this story to a close, we are reminded of the power of redemption and the resilience of the human spirit. Ivy's journey, alongside the countless individuals who embraced their own paths to redemption, serves as a testament to the potential for growth and change within us all. Through the pages of this tale, we have witnessed the transformative power of compassion, forgiveness, and second chances. We have seen how one person's journey can ignite a movement, inspiring others to confront their past, seek redemption, and become beacons of hope for those still searching for their own paths. The legacy of Ivy and his companions lives on, not only in the hearts and minds of those they touched but in the societal changes they sparked. The fight for prison reform and the recognition of the inherent worth and potential for growth in every individual continue to shape our world. As we close this chapter, let us carry the spirit of redemption with us, embracing the belief that no one is beyond redemption and that everyone deserves a chance to rebuild their lives. May we approach one another with empathy and understanding, recognizing that our shared humanity unites us in our collective journey towards growth and healing. Let us remember that redemption is not a destination, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and transformation. May we strive to create a world where compassion and second chances are not just ideals, but the foundations upon which we build our societies. And so, as we bid farewell to Ivy and his companions, their stories will forever echo in our hearts, reminding us that redemption is possible for all who seek it. Let us carry their legacy forward, embracing the power of redemption, and creating a world where every individual has the opportunity to rewrite their story and find their own path to redemption. The end.